Bruce DelValle, who's a constitutional law expert. He's joining us from Annapolis in Maryland. Bruce, thanks for joining us. What is your reaction to the verdict?
I have to tell you, I'm quite surprised. I think that I anticipated with the lesser included offenses that although the defense did apparently a far better job of trying its case than the prosecution did of trying its case, I thought that there would be some resemblance of dismay that this young man would be allowed to get in his car from another state and come to Wisconsin and impose his will upon the people of Wisconsin and protect the property of a community that was not his. But I will tell you, I think the bottom line is, and I think the reason why, as the prior correspondent referenced that video, the people attacked him. He did not attack them. So I think that is probably what stuck with the jurors. I'm just guessing. I've had a number of jury trials. I've sat with juries when I was with the federal court, and they latch on to sometimes the simplest things, but the correct things. I think they were led to believe by the defense, and I think the evidence showed that he was attacked by the members of the mob, that the people engaged him first. He didn't engage them. He wasn't walking around shooting people. So I think that's why the self-defense strategy stuck. I think it had resonance.
Yeah, apparently there was some direction from the judge as well that under Wisconsin law, if the accused feels in any way they are in danger of losing their life, they have a right to self-defense.
That's correct. And I think we should be very careful here. I don't see this as a racial issue. The original riot or the original disturbance or the original demonstration or the original social justice movement that gave rise to this alleged crime was the wrongful shooting of an African-American male by a white policeman that just seemed to be wrong. It was a racially overcharged. There was a racial tension in the air. But this was not a race-based crime. All of the victims were white, and Mr. Rittenhouse is white. So I think we need to be very careful to do that overlay of whether this is a racial issue and whether this will continue racial tensions. I think there might be an effort by the Biden administration's Justice Department to bring civil rights claims against him, which is a federal cause of action. And under the Constitution, he can be sued federally. He cannot be retried for these same cases, but he can be sued for civil rights violations for violating the civil rights of his victims or the people that he shot, which maybe, of course, are not victims because they were the aggressors. But I think that would be a very tough and difficult and intellectually disingenuous effort by the Biden administration. Although Biden called him a terrorist and said he had violated their civil rights, once again, these are white people that were killed by a white person. The racial issue just simply is not there.
Okay, but if it is indeed the case that, self-defense was used successfully in his defense, is this not a really worrying situation that someone can go out with a rifle to a protest? Does it also not spark a wider debate about guns and vigilantism, I guess, in the US, which seems to be on the rise?
I think so. I mean, throughout our history, we've had issues with vigilantes. Some of the people we consider our heroes in the West were vigilantes. What I would like to see and what I think will happen, and I think you'll see support from lawful gun owners and from people that are anti-gun, from Republicans and Democrats, is I think that the open carry laws have to be amended to state that they are automatically suspended in times of civil unrest. If you have rioting in the street, you cannot have people showing up with openly carrying guns that are not duly deputized police officers or National Guardsmen. That gives rise to this sort of a chaotic vigilante type atmosphere. I think we're going to see that. I am certain we're going to see an amendment to the Wisconsin open carry law so that it's clear that anyone under the age of 18 is prohibited from carrying a firearm in public in an open display, because that was just an embarrassment that the Wisconsin legislature had not properly done its job. But once again, in the United States, it is up to the legislature to make the laws. The laws here do not prohibit what Mr. Rittenhouse did. There can be laws that can prohibit this, and I think everyone would be fine with the fact that whenever there is civil unrest, whenever there's rioting in the streets and the police officers are trying to quell the violence, that additional violence is not infused by people carrying guns. I think open carry laws should be suspended during the times of civil unrest and open and civil violence.
Okay, Bruce, thank you. Bruce DelValle there joining us, a constitutional law expert. Thanks for your time. Appreciate it.